Hello everyone, this is exclamation mark YT, and today I'm going to create a very subjective tier list on every single boss in Cuphead, depending on how hard they are to speedrun. S being extremely hard and D being pushover. Let's start with Rupak. Rupak is a pretty difficult boss to rank actually because he really depends on what your skill level is at. Right now, I have a 34.96 Rupak, which is the second fastest time, and if you're at that point, Rupak is probably extremely difficult to optimize. Not difficult to beat, but difficult to optimize. So, if you're just trying to beat him, he's not that hard. Like, you usually get over him. So I'll put him at like a B for now. Now we got Ruby and Croaks. Honestly, Ruby and Croaks is hard on all levels if you're trying to speedrun. Yeah, this is just like an automatic A. Reason being is because you get either punches or flies in the first phase, and both of them are pretty hard to deal with. Punches, you do have a consistent way every time. Well, I say consistent, but you gotta land on a specific pixels if you want to do that. And flies is just generally pretty hard to execute the super skip on them. And then you got the last phase to deal with you almost be at 2 or less HP in the final phase. So yeah, I think Ruby and Croaks fits in like an A. Now Goopy's also similar to Rupak. He's extremely difficult to optimize. But if you're playing at like a medium low level, he's pretty much a pushover. I would say he's like a C, honestly. Like, he is hard to optimize, but he's not that hard to optimize unless you get this one very specific pattern that I'm gonna be probably playing on screen right now. Yeah, it's the pattern where he doesn't do the like goopy like LOL attack, as we call it in the Speedrun community. Like, where he stretches his head out in the first phase. Now we got Hilda. Hilda is like I don't think I would say S, honestly. Like, Hilda's also hard to optimize, but it's like, let's say top of A. Actually, yeah, top of A. She's definitely harder than Ruby, I think. Yeah, Hilda's just hard to optimize, and you gotta take 2 damage boosts if you wanna like go faster. Which means you're left at 1 HP in the final phase, and that can sometimes screw you over. Like, the stars can just screw you over anytime. Now we got Kangi. Kangi is also a boss where your skill is very like dependent. Like, it's very skill dependent boss. If you're either playing on the level, somewhere like I am, my best Kangi is a 32.45. I'm pretty sure. Gamer is a 32.13, which I tried to get, but he stole from me. But that's besides the point. But yeah, Kangi's... If I'm talking only my level, I'd honestly put him in S. He's like really difficult to optimize and just beat sometimes. But this is supposed to be like a well-rounded tier list, reflecting all skill levels, so I would put him in top of A right for now. Let's see. Now I got Bonbon. Bonbon's an interesting boss. She gets easier as your skill level goes higher. I think B is fine, above Rupak, because the final phase can be pretty hard to deal with. Because in which case, in speedrunning, you just kind of like hug. Well, you almost hug the castle wall, and you just jump up and spread her. And sometimes you take damage, and sometimes you die, depending on how much HP you have. Yeah, Jimmy's not that hard. He's just hard to optimize. He's like a C. Actually, he's a D. Yeah, he's a D. Like, Jimmy's like one of those bosses you get really comfortable with when you're on 1 HP even. Yeah, even as your level goes higher, you start to get consistently good times. Like, he's just a really consistent and easy boss, I'd say. Next we got Bebby. Oh boy, where do I put Bebby? If you're playing into like mid-low level again, you're not going for this trick called Beppy Skip or Beppy Glitch. I don't know what it is. But if you are playing at like a slightly higher level than mid and to a high level, you're always going to be going for the skip, the Beppy Skip. And my god, Beppy Skip is so difficult. I have spent so much time on them just trying to get Beppy Skip consistently. I'd say like below Hilda because you're only gonna go for Beppy Skip if you're on a high level. To mid to low level, you're not going to be having too much trouble on Beppy. So yeah, around here. Then I got Wally. Where do I put Wally? Wally's extremely difficult, and if you're on a high level, if you're on a mid to low level, he's okay. Not as hard as Kangi. Probably around Hilda. Yeah, I think that's fine. I think that's fair. Grim is an S. Okay, my reasoning for this is... Oh, actually, now that I think about it, to a mid to low level, you wouldn't really be using spread much in Grim. If you're on a high level, you want to be calculating your damage depending on the amount of cards you're generating. And you want to get as much spread as possible in the first phase. And yeah, you just gotta learn to play close with Grim. Play really close, and you gotta learn how to count your cards. You gotta learn when the right time to damage boost into him is. I'll put him in S for now, because Grim can be pretty tricky even for like beginner speedrunners. Oh, what are you? Okay, Rumor's another S. Sorry. Rumor's another S for pretty obvious reasons. You gotta get a quick kill on her. So, okay. If you're on the mid to low level, you're gonna be aiming to get the quick kill. If you don't get it, too bad. But then you got the final phase to deal with, and that's just gonna make her a nightmare. If you're playing on a high level, you try to get the quick kill. If you don't, you have to reset. It's too much of a time loss. But compared to Grim, she's pretty... compared to Rumor, Grim is pretty easy, I'd say. Like, Rumor is so much harder. Cow. I like Cow, actually. Not saying he's that easy. So, when you're starting out speedrunning, Cow's gonna be one of those, like, wild card bosses for you. Like, you don't know if you're gonna make it through or not. But as your skill gets higher and higher, like, you just, like, piece the strategy together that basically 95% of the time works out. I'd say like higher than Wally, maybe. Actually, it's difficult. Yeah, actually, I like this placement. Sally. Sally might seem very easy, but she's such a hard boss to optimize once again. And how you want the fight to go is in the final phase you just want an insta killer basically, but that doesn't always happen. Like I honestly don't know why it doesn't happen, but it just doesn't happen sometimes. If you're playing on a mid to low level, she's fine, I suppose. Just actually no, because you might get stuck if you're not very good at dealing with her. Like if you're not very good at tracking her. Still, I'd say like a B is fine. Higher than Bonbon? Maybe, probably not. I put her like here. Okay, Werner, or Werner, as the like dedicated casual players call it. We just call him Werner because it's easier. Werner is I don't know about Werner actually. I put him in like high C actually, because if you're a casual, or sorry, mid to low skill level speedrunner, you're basically plowing through him. He's free. So if I were still like in mid low speedrunner, I'll put him in like end of D. But in a high skill level, there's a few Um, there's like this. I think it's like a 4-frame trick. I'm not too sure. 4-frame trick quadruple / sextuple damage you can go for. Saves a lot of time. A lot of time. It's 112 damage most of the time and 168 damage sometimes. And plus, if you're on a high skill level, you're gonna want to track him really well in the second phase, because when he's stationary, and you shoot a down right lobber EX on his left side, it hits for quadruple damage, and you want to get as much of those as possible. But it's not always easy getting those. You have to know when he's gonna be stationary. You also have to react to, like how he's moving, how fast he's moving. And first phase is pretty difficult to deal with when you're doing like flick lobbers and stuff. That being said, I don't think he deserves C. I'll leave him there though, yeah. Briny. Briny's hard when you're starting out. You know how lobber and spread is the optimal loadout for this category? 1.1 plus any percent. Any new speedrunner I come across, I always recommend they do not go for lobber and spread on Briny. Like, how we deal with Briny at a high level, we just kind of guess if he's gonna give us parries or not. And that's gonna lead you to some depth sometimes. Well, if you're in a mid-low level and decide to choose Pisher, he's not that bad. Just kind of snipe him from far away too. He's weird. But if you're on the mid-low level going for lobber spread, okay, I'm just gonna base this tier list off of like lobber spread only, even on mid-low levels. Then he will probably go on S, bottom of S. Yeah, because trying to shoot Briny when he's a close range brawler and you're also a close range brawler is not fun. Lobber and spread, of course, having the two shortest ranges in the game. Now we got Kala. I don't think Cal is too difficult. Like, even as your skill level advances, it's just basically like time this correctly, do this Luigi swap. I put her in like, I actually put her below Goopy, because her strategy doesn't really evolve that much. Like, it does evolve, but it doesn't evolve that much. Phantom. I have a personal bias for Phantom. I spent 10 months on Phantom trying to master him. I still haven't. And even as you're starting out, Phantom can be super difficult. But not as hard as Rumor, because of my 10 months. So, well, actually, is that correct? Like, the general public actually spends years on Phantom. I remember Yuka style trademark, telling me he spent 2 years to get good on Phantom. Martin also took a couple months, to another NMG world record holder currently, I'm pretty sure. Grandy is just grinding out Phantom for a bit. Clipboard lost his mind on Phantom. Oh, that's not necessarily true, but yeah. King Dice is RNG dependent. You get hearts. If you get hearts, he's pretty much a free boss. Even if he gives you 1 heart, he's pretty much a free boss. The case is if he doesn't give you any hearts. What are we going to do then? And if you're on the mid-low level, you actually have a higher chance of getting hearts, because you can go for either 357 or 348 or 368. Basically pick and choose. But in the high level, you always want to go for 357. And there are times there won't be any hearts in 357. Top of B sounds great. Yeah. Now, we got Devil. You might not realize this, but Devil is the most complicated boss in the entire game, hands down. Maybe besides Chef. Actually, Chef is easy. Honestly, Chef is easier to understand than Devil. Freaking Devil. Like, oh my god. Like, if you're playing on the mid to low level, he's like not that hard. You just kind of get through him. You sometimes die. if you're on a high level, if you're in like Granius clipboard level, you're gonna Granius is so the double spider attack. It has several offsets that it would spawn depending on Cuphead's location. There's like -300, there's like 150. That's 150 means he will spawn 150 pixels, I'm pretty sure, to the right of Cuphead. So relative to Cuphead's position every time. But those offsets, the game chooses an offset to start with and then just starts scrolling down on its list of offsets. So that's Spider. And even if you get Dragon, which is a good pattern, there's like this glitch called the Devil Glitch or Devil Freeze. And you're gonna try and want to get that, and there's a chance you'll soft lock if you don't know how to properly get that, just effectively killing your run. But yeah, that sounds good. Alright, but that was my tier list. Yeah, if you have any objections, feel free to comment. I will read it and we can share our opinions. I'll see y'all later.